Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, December 8, 2022. The Ministry of Finance has taken steps to commence implementation of the new public sector compensation system this month with the payment of arrears and new rates to some groups. Portfolio Minister Dr. Nigel Clark tabled a second supplementary estimates for the current fiscal year in the House of Representatives on Tuesday. It will primarily address the allocation of funds for the compensation system to the relevant ministries, departments, and agencies of government.
The second supplementary estimates transfers $30.4 billion from the contingencies activity of Head 20,000 to the various ministries, departments, and agencies. We are seeking to make the arrears that are now due from the 1st of April until the current time available to those who have signed. And that is the policy intent.
The Finance Ministry has also given approval for public bodies that are not on the consolidated fund and that are not receiving the full amount of back payment to pay in advance to their employees in December.
We have granted them approval to advance amounts up to a maximum of $100,000 to members of their staff in public bodies, pending the finalization of the mapping exercise, at which point the full amount of the back pay would become due.
The second supplementary estimates also provides for a one-time payment in additional subvention to the local authorities and the University Hospital of the West Indies. This amount of $1.7 billion is to assist both entities in meeting their operational expenses. The effective date for the new compensation system is April 1, 2022. Agreement has so far been reached with 17 unions and staff associations, and government is proceeding to the implementation phase of the process. As not all groups have settled, Minister Clark says a third supplementary estimates will be necessary to complete the allocation of resources. Jamaicans looking to go into the essential oil business can now access manufacturing space at the Jamaica Business Development Corporation JBDC production incubator. The 2,400 square foot essential oil incubator located off Marcus Garvey Drive in Kingston was officially opened recently. It houses equipment and washing facilities to process raw materials and extract the oil manually or electronically. Entrepreneurs will also have access to a small laboratory that will allow for standard testing of essential oils produced in the space.
So what is happening here today is a big deal for the small farmers, the housewives, all those persons with ideas.
Chief Executive Officer of the JBDC, Valerie Vera, lauded the government for approving the $15 million budget to set up the incubator.
I just want to say that this is a catalyst for many more businesses to grow along the value chain.
The incubator is expected to impact roughly 4,500 people by the end of its 4-year cycle. The JBDC also plans to manufacture and sell its own essential oils while promoting the availability of the space to entrepreneurs. According to market reports, the global essential oil industry is estimated to reach $15.3 billion by 2027, and Minister Dunn says Jamaica can benefit from this opportunity. Regional health authorities across the island have been directed to carry out an audit of all sanitary conveniences in public hospitals. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says he gave the directive on Tuesday. It was in response to recent media reports decrying the state and upkeep of some bathroom facilities in health establishments.
We have over 500 such facilities in our public health, in the hospitals alone, not the health centers. And we will follow up on that to correct that.
Minister Tufton stressed that management of the health institutions must execute their responsibility to oversee and ensure that sanitary conveniences and infrastructure generally are maintained in accordance with good health standards.
And we do expect that even if the infrastructure is aged, as they will get, particularly in this context where we haven't seen a lot of build-out, that we need to keep them clean in keeping with protocols around infection prevention and control.
At the same time, he's encouraging users of these facilities to treat them with care.
In keeping with that right to a clean sanitary convenience is a responsibility to take care of it. We have to understand that this partnership requires us to protect the assets that are there to care for us.
The charity's policy and procedures guidelines for the Ministry of Health has been extended to allow for more donations to the public health system. Portfolio Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service gave approval for the changes last week.
Which means that we are going to have more people, more outreach, and hopefully address any concerns that anyone would have about how gifting can be utilized in an efficient way.
Dr. Tufton made the announcement during Tuesday's ceremony to reopen the renovated and expanded Chapelton Community Hospital. He says more details will be provided later.
We feel that public health, like education, can't survive if we do not have a philanthropic arm, if we do not benefit from the goodwill of others. And there are so many well-thinking Jamaicans who want to give, but we need to create a vehicle for them to give. And we need to reassure them that in giving, the benefits flow to those who it was intended to benefit.
And finally, Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs Marlene Malahou-Fort says improvements are being made to government's legislative process. During a statement to Parliament on Tuesday, she indicated that all ministries had established legislative teams and her ministry had begun working with them. An inaugural meeting was held with the legislative teams on September 9 to allow the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs to meet the respective officers and provide details on the new arrangements.
My ministry has gone further since then to convene meetings with the permanent secretaries and the legislative teams of each ministry to review the progress of priority legislation encompassed in the 2022-23 legislation program and the throne speech, to discuss strategies to accelerate the pace of reform for outstanding legislation, and also ahead, we have begun our discussion on the legislative priorities for 2023-2024.
Additional meetings have been scheduled with the Prime Minister's Office and the Ministries of Labour and Social Security, Education and Youth, and Science, Energy and Technology. Minister Malahou-Fort says more meetings will be scheduled throughout December.
A projectized approach has been introduced, which now require all ministries to work within settled time frames. An agile, hand-holding approach has been adopted by my ministry to ensure that support to the other ministries is responsive and effective.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.